What's the name of the podcast, Ethan?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's not comedy.
It's not going to be a podcast. It's going to be a fucking train wreck.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say.
We were like, it was boring as fuck.
There we go. Mitch was telling some story about buying computer parts or some shit.
Just fucking retards online.
Oh, God. So I'm here to save you guys then.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
essentially what I'm here for. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. We can do that.
Welcome, Eddie.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going,
Probably
Eddy?
put the mic close to your face.
Sorry, yeah. So I did a radio thing yesterday, and I swear to God, they kept on telling me to back off from the mic, and now I'm just in the habit because I went to do the promo, and I did the first one, and he's like, "Oh fuck," and I was like, "Yeah, that's fair. I am very proud." But I hung out. Actually, I was drinking with some mates last night, and I was drinking with this one guy who was so loud. And it was so weird to be the person not being told to shut up at a party.
Yeah,
I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying being part of the group instead of like berating them with my voice. It was fun though. He was a good guy. He was just partially deaf, so we didn't realise when he was getting louder and louder and louder.
That's me. That's straight up me.
I don't know.
I'm actually like half deaf in my left ear.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. I've had surgery and all sorts of shit.
How did it happen? Is it?
I got onto a plane with pneumonia and fucking burst my eardrum.
At least it wasn't corona, I guess.
Yeah, no. No.
Fuck me, that's
Is that
bad.
what happened? I didn't realise.
Yeah, that was the start of the issues.
Oh.
And then I got a...
Why would best friends communicate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I grew...
I thought you were just a pussy.
then
to
I
be honest,
developed...
that's what I assumed too.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Yeah.
And then I developed like a...
Gut. No?
Yeah, I got fat.
And my ears went.
Yeah.
So how come your earring's gone? Oh, I'm fat. Just imagine that answer. Just be like, yeah, please ask me further questions if you dare.
That should be my excuse for everything.
Yeah. That should be.
Like, oh, why didn't you mow the lawn? I'm fat.
No, see, that one makes sense. Though.
Yeah, no,
Like,
you're right.
It's funnier.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about comedy, Mitch.
I don't.
It's funnier.
You've seen
if
my
the two
sets.
things aren't connected. Oh yeah. It was real. It was, what do you call it when you ask a question but you don't want it answered?
Yeah.
It was rhetorical, Mitch.
Yeah.
My brain's skipping a beat right now because it's like
You're hungover.
Yeah,
You've been at it.
I'm seedy as fuck. So I'm gonna forget words, and I'm gonna be asking you like the whole podcast to be like, what was the word I wanted?
Ethan does that
like a
normally
shitty
with
game
me.
show, you know, just like what word am I looking for?
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. But with
Naggers.
No letters. No letters and no context. I'll be, why can't you get this?
Oh, dude. I'm having a break this weekend from weed, so my brain should work
Yeah.
reasonably.
I passively smoked a bunch last night, I reckon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
okay.
I don't actually smoke it very often, but like
You said
I
you
hang
only
around a
smoke
lot of
it
people who
at,
do.
like, when it's party or something, you'll have a little bit, but...
It
otherwise.
depends. Usually if I get super, super drunk and somebody passes it to me, I'll be like, okay. But like last night, I wasn't that drunk. I was I was pretty high though. Massively smoke all this shit. I was like, oh my God,
you
it
gotta
was crazy.
explain that now, because
Yeah.
you're like, I didn't have any weed, but I was still
Well, I
super
was on
high.
other stuff. I didn't want to say it. I'm like, I don't know if this like is PC. I don't know. I've already said fuck like a 10 times.
Really?
I
Us?
know, that's true. What am I thinking? Oh my God, I don't know.
You act like you and I haven't had an argument about my fucking views of on women in comedy.
Oh yeah. I remember once we had an argument once at the end of an open mic night.
That was
And
exactly
then,
what I'm referring to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he goes home, right? He sends me an apology message. I'm like, that's right, because I always win.
Yeah.
I'm always fucking right. Yeah.
I was
It
like, hey,
funny.
man, I've been in the scene 3 months.
And you already
and-
pissed me off.
Yeah.
Someone
I've
else.
already pissed off the one person, like one of the two room bookers.
Yeah.
So I was
So
like,
fucking
I'll
funny.
probably apologize.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
funny thing was that I wasn't even pissed at you. I wasn't. So like the message.
Fuck,
came
I'd
out
hate
of
to
the
see
blue
you
for me.
angry.
Oh Jesus!
you
It's hard
were
to get
yelling at
angry.
me.
No,
Yeah,
I being passionate towards
yeah.
you. Yeah. Do you want to see
I'm not
me
angry. I'm not angry. I'm just passionate.
Yeah. I'm passionately punching you right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. See these holes in the walls? Passion.
Yes, yes. I'm an artist. Oh, fuck, that's great.
Oh man. So let's jump into it.
All right, let's do it.
Fucking Fringe Festival. You've got an hour show.
I do. And I'm really keen. Actually, yesterday, me and one of the other female comedians, I know you guys know, me and Loz Button are doing back-to-back shows. So
Yep.
we figured we'd combine resources and do promo together. So we've added our posters together. And yesterday we did this radio promo. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know whether it's better
What?
to plug it in or I could just play it through my
I
mic.
can't be
Ethan
fucking plugging it in.
Ethan hasn't got a fucking auxiliary input for ease of use.
Yeah, you guys aren't like
got one right
skilled
here.
at
It's
this. What are you
plugged
talking about? All right, but do you want
Yeah.
to play it just so you can
Yeah.
hear it and then
Yeah.
we can comment on it, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we did individual promos for because it was for this radio station, so he got us to do I've made the switch to this station. Come listen to like you do. So do you want me to play those ones first, and then I'll play our promo together?
Yeah, play it all.
So this is my one.
Hi, I'm Eddy Rockefeller, and I'm Newcastle's most arrogant comedian. I made the switch to Newie 87.8 FM because I'm a legend.
Check out Eddy Rockefeller on Sticky Tickets.
Yeah, it does the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
This is Loz's one.
Hi, this is Loz Button. I have the most recognisable voice in Australian comedy.
Sounds like Steve Irwin crossed with the Cookie Monster.
And I have made the switch to Newie 87.8 FM. We are one.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I
Holy
convinced her to
fuck.
do the singing thing afterwards. It'd be so fucking funny. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is our combined promo for our shows.
Yep.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Eddy Rockefeller.
And I'm Loz Button.
And while we're both comedians, our generational gap makes us as different as chalk and cheese. I think about things like one-night stands, while you think about...
Self-respect.
I like to drink and party all night.
And I have self-respect.
I'm attracted to men.
And I'm not an idiot.
Who's to say you're attracted to women?
Yeah, because I'm not an idiot. The only man in my life is menopause.
It shows. We'll be showcasing our unique perspectives on life in the up-and-coming Newcastle Fringe Festival this March. Come see my show, The Art of Falling in Love.
And my show, Who Let the Dyke Out?
Just head to stickytickets.com and search the show
Dog's
name to
so
book yourself. We'll be performing back-to-back shows at the Grand Hotel. So together, we make a great night of entertainment. No, entertainment.
Sorry,
No, you're supposed to say...
But alcoholism.
Loz Button and Eddy Rockefeller.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with that.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah.
So did you write those?
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
went over to Loz's and we came up with a couple ideas. We came up with the menopause thing because I was like, she wanted to do something about how we were so different.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, you're very feminine. I was like, the first I've heard of it, but okay. I mean, I am currently wearing a dress, but I'm not, you guys know.
On a
I'm
scale
not
to
mine.
Paris Hilton
Yeah.
to Loz,
Yeah.
Like-
I'm probably in the middle.
yeah. Well, probably towards the Paris Hilton side of things almost.
You mean
I'd
Eddie?
say. Yeah,
Eddie's more
Loz
likely to do a sex tape. Is
There's probably one out there already, actually.
Not
Search for
anymore.
Eddy
Pornhub.
Rockefeller and,
Yeah.
from behind. No, I'm joking. Jesus Christ. Which one are we promoting here? I'm just checking.
And this is how we found out Eddie had an OnlyFans.
Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, so we came up with we were going to do something about us being different and maybe the age gap thing. And the menopause, and then I sat down the next morning, and I was like, oh, it just sounds, and worded it and put it all together, and it was, I was really excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got there though, and I don't think the dude expected us to have written anything.
Oh.
Because I was like, we've written a whole
Really?
thing.
From two comedians.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't expect you to have anything funny, actually, because you're a women.
It's
Or He said it, not us.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Please don't yell at me again, Eddie.
No, he was lovely. He was awesome, actually. The funny thing is that him and Loz are like tit brothers and sisters, if that makes sense. I noticed.
Did you say
she told the
tit?
story. Yeah, they're tit. Yeah.
Okay.
She explains it way better. But apparently they were born on like the same day, around the same time. And I think Loz's mum couldn't breastfeed.
Right.
So his mum used to breastfeed Loz. So
Okay,
whenever they see each other, Loz is always like, "Hey, tit bro," and he's like, "Hey, tit sis." I walked into this and went, "What did I sign up for another porno? Oh no!" Like, shit. I gotta read the fine print, you know, just like keep getting tricked.
Yeah.
No, it was funny, and turns out I walked in and I didn't realize I knew him either, but I've done like I did like a what do you call it? A 4-hour marathon of horses with him once.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
That's the other sex tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ride him. Like
You fucking beat me to it. I was about to. Jesus.
To be fair, if you hadn't gone that take, I would have respected you less. Well, I'm sorry, I'm joking. I don't respect you at all. Oh shit, yeah. So lot of fun. That was like a promo thing. So we did like different genres. So it wasn't just like the same. So that would have been boring as fuck. Well, we did like a rap version, and we did like a heavy metal version, and a reggae version. It was super cool. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm genuinely excited for.
We don't have to do
see
that
the
shit for
shows.
Dubbo, do we?
Oh yeah, you guys are coming to Dubbo Fringe.
Yeah,
aren't you?
so I'm still trying to put together, like, it's so fucking hard to get comedians to just be like, yeah, I'm keen for that. It's hard and it's easy.
Yeah, because
it's
it's
either
for travel. You should have done it for Newcastle Fringe.
I know.
Both
But-
me and Laws thought that when we heard you guys were going to come to Dubbo. We were
I
like,
wanted to
why
do
did you do
yeah.
Newcastle?
Because I'm lazy. I leave everything
He's like,
to the
I'll
last
do the
minute.
more difficult one.
Yeah,
I'll do
yeah.
If it wasn't for Mitch, we wouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I know.
that's fair, that's fair.
I know. And I'm trying to come up with a name. I've come up with one name.
It's the best name.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
It describes
Oh,
me.
no.
Ethan hates it.
Yeah, I was surprised that Mitch had something good. Like,
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
be.
I was like, I've
I
come up
guess.
with a name. I'm like, Relentless. And yeah, you don't like it.
Why?
Because I was like, relentless comedy, like it just doesn't stop, you know?
Dude, you're doing a
awful.
showcase. It doesn't need a
Well,
title.
It's
You
actually
just do showcase.
it's actually what the show's gonna be. It will be
Relentless.
relentless.
I know.
It'll
I
be
know.
never ending. It'll
But
just
you don't
keep
read
going
that
on.
title and go,
No.
I should see that.
Yeah.
That sounds like it will be a good time. Like,
I'm hoping you and Loz get enough people in the door that they just hang around for us.
yeah. Oh, God.
Are we going on after?
We're going
Yeah,
in
you're
between.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
I've been thinking about
Wow.
hitting Phil up to switch that.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because we've already got this recorded Fringe thing about our thing, and we still want to use it. But if we're not back-to-back shows, then we can't use it.
Yeah,
So
true.
Yeah. I was thinking,
swap
yeah, it's also, I was like, fuck. I didn't want to step on like yours and Loz's toes. And I was like, fuck, being in the middle, it might be cool, but it also might hurt because maybe people don't want to go out for a 3-hour show.
Especially if
Yeah.
if we're going in between.
Yeah.
It's like woman, men.
Yeah, woman.
It'll be just like very
Misogyny.
segregated. Come to segregated comedy.
Well,
That should be the name.
I originally you were going to be on the thing on the ballot. Best word I can come up with.
Yeah.
And
Because people are going to vote for us at the end and be like, they were shit.
Puddin' for president.
Yeah.
President Puddin'.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I was thinking about because I was like, we have to do something. I was like, maybe we could do like a video of just a brawl with all the comedians just fighting each other. I was like, that'd be cool.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I like fighting.
Just want an excuse to bash everyone. That's fucking
I know.
concerning. Now come to Dubbo and stay in a motel with
He
me.
just wants to be
He's
really
selling it.
passionate.
Yeah. It's not violence, it's
Passionate about
passion.
my comedy.
Jesus Christ, I don't think I want to be anywhere near Mitch's passion. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Mitch's passion.
Yeah, that's... Oh my God.
That's what I'm going to start calling my semen.
I thought that's what we were referring to be honest.
You were, but thank you.
It's like, yeah, it takes him a second to latch on.
That was awful. Can we just move on?
Yeah. Let's skip ahead to the
Eddie's
part
trying to
of the
like,
podcast.
that was awful, and she's like, let's not acknowledge the bomb. Ethan lets me bask in it. He's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, good.
Just let the silence fester.
Yeah.
He needs to learn, Ethan.
Oh,
he needs to learn.
You think I would have already with
Yeah.
my fucking all my bombs over the last 2 years?
They've been relentless.
Oh, there we
yes,
go.
exactly.
So Relentless should be the solo show for your solo show.
Yeah, it's just me on stage for an hour rubbing myself. Not my penis.
Oh my
just-
god. This-
It's alright, we have video now.
yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ. I was like, oh my god.
We're working on a Spotify deal.
They're going to pay Mitch $100 million to rub his tits.
No, I was going to be Spotify deal. We're going to pay them to even have us on the fucking thing.
Yeah. They'll pay us to stop.
Yeah. No, I'm actually paying to put this podcast out. Legit. We don't get any money for this. We're losing money.
We are. It's a sinking ship. But,
I know. We're 37 in Australia.
Oh, yeah. I got an email the other week
What?
saying we're the 37th most popular comedy podcast
No
in
way.
Australia.
Yeah.
I know. I felt
There's 38 podcasts in Australia.
comedy.
That's great. Well, let's be straight up. The podcasts are like mainly just Sydney comedians, and then you guys. So
Yeah.
there's like
Yeah.
Well,
Sydney comedians, and then your podcast probably. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do you even check the number of downloads we get?
No.
Yeah.
Why would I want that disappointment?
Yeah.
in my fucking
Yeah, I
day?
know.
I don't want to hurt every time.
Our fucking YouTube channel is abysmal. It's got fucking 15 views, and 10 of them are me.
Yeah.
Just hitting refresh.
Yeah. Oh man, we got one fucking ad ever.
One
Didn't
ad.
we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got paid like $30 or something to do like a Podcorn commercial.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was a gimme. Like,
Yeah.
They were just giving that to everyone who signed up.
Yeah.
But we've been paid to do this shit.
Yeah, we're
It's on-
professionals.
it's on the books.
$30.
Yeah.
It's on the books.
US dollars too.
Yeah.
Not paying tax yet, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it
Should've
was
invested it back into
oh,
the podcast.
yeah.
You know, done some
No.
ads.
Oh fuck. I'd like to do ads just for the sake of doing ads. I think it'd be good fun.
Yeah. I liked the cream fiend ad. That was fun.
Yeah.
But we should do we should do ads for companies that don't want us to do ads for them.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think that'd be funny. That would be funny bit.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
Just come up with fucking
Come up with random products and just do like fill in like the in betweens with these ads for these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking
Here's the catch though: they have to be funny.
And that is where we fall down.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh
great
no,
idea.
scrap the idea.
Up until that point.
Oh fucking hell.
So I wanted to ask, how long have you been working, like writing this hour show?
Well, okay, so it started like obviously when you start comedy, you're just writing for the sake of writing
Yeah.
and writing about your life in general. And then when I decided to do the show, I was like, what kind of material? What's my best material that I would want to stick in? Okay, and then I shared what's the type of theme that I have. And then I was like, okay, what bits are missing from the theme? So like I literally went to a speed dating night just so I could write a set about speed dating for my show. That was like the only point. I've been to one.
Yeah.
I've been to one. And I think the chick lost my email as well because you're supposed to get an email the next day with all the people you connected with. And I know I connected
And
with
you didn't
one.
get any?
I didn't get an email. And I was like, I am such a loser. But then I got a message from a guy who clearly got my details. So he clearly connected because he messaged me.
Because he followed you home.
Yeah. He sent me a message like, hey, and I was like, who is this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. Anyway, so I know I did connect with at least one.
Well, that's
The
good.
funny thing is, though, this dude that messaged me, I literally, because you only get like 10 minutes with each person, I literally talked the entire time. I didn't let him have a single fucking word, and he was still like,
That's not like you.
I'll message her. No, fuck off. I was a little bit like, where's your self-respect that you like, I didn't have to talk at all. I didn't have to put, you like, she knows nothing about me. I'll message her.
Yeah.
That's like this. Do you know who this dude is? like.
Yeah, I
everyone's-
know that dude.
You know that dude, all right? Because I got a friend ad from him, like
I'm
out of
gonna
the
go
blue.
check the
It's like, who the fuck is
the
this?
picture, so I make
Yeah.
sure it's who I think it is.
Yeah, but like, I don't do well with that either. Like, someone just adds me out of the blue, and I've got no idea who they are.
I don't like
Yeah,
it, to
he
be
used
honest.
to hang around comedy a bunch.
Right.
But
Anyway.
he's only got pictures of his back. I do recognise it.
Seems-
though. Like,
He's trying to pick up.
Seems normal.
if it's who I think it is, he used to come to like a bunch of the comedy nights,
Right.
and he just hasn't in a while.
So let's
Like, a
add
long
everyone who I haven't met before.
There was
Yeah, I think he got up and did comedy once, and he literally got up, said one line, then walked off, and I was like,
Yeah.
best set ever. Like,
Did he get a laugh?
no, like,
Ah.
it was-
Shit.
Well,
but what the self-awareness to go one line in, it's not going well, get off. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty good, I reckon. Like, this isn't gonna
He
work.
quit
then
after
fuck
that,
off.
yeah.
Like,
Most successful
Yeah.
comedian ever.
I don't think he ever got up again. It was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, dude.
Well, it was just so funny because of the fact. I think the only other set that I've seen that was like anything like similar to it was I think we did a Spanish hung in out the back of Brady's place, and there's this one comedian who's a big person in the scene, like built half the scene, and then he just left this. Like he's still around, but he just doesn't do comedy anymore. He does different forms of comedy, and he was Dave Gardner. You know Dave Gardner, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were at the Spanish hung in, and he was pacing back and forth because he paces when he's thinking about his set. He paced back and forth, and he was stressing so much about the set. And then when he got up on stage, he was up there for 18 seconds, destroyed, and then just fucked off. I was like, oh, it was so funny.
Left the party.
No, just like
Oh,
got off the set.
right.
Because the thing is, like, Steve White was
Yeah.
emceeing, yeah, and Steve has this thing like back before Opal, he used to like he'd get like bus tickets because he'd catch a bus everywhere, and he'd write his set on the bus tickets because it's the
Yeah.
only paper he had. So he's well known for like getting up on stage and just reading off these bus tickets. So Dave Gardner just got up there and just like let me get my set, and just got an Opal card out, just destroyed. Like everyone lost their shit because it's like very in humor.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
nobody at a comedy night would have got it. Like
No.
everyone there was comedians, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Dear Lord, destroyed," and he was like, "I can't do better than this," and he just left. Oh, one of the best moments in comedy.
Quit while you're ahead.
If only.
The self-awareness. I reckon I have the opposite problem though. When I get on stage, I'll have a good set, and then if I'm having a good set, I'll go, I can do this longer. And
Yeah.
I'll push it, and then I'll get to the end, I'll be like, okay, I should probably start leaving now.
Yeah.
I'll end with a banger. And then I never get the laugh that I want from my end joke.
Oh,
I've
it is.
never-
Isn't it the worst?
And then you just like, at some point you got to give up and just go, that's the best response I'm going to get from my end joke. Get
Yeah.
off now. Like
Yeah.
I should have left when I was on a high, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh.
But I'm just so greedy. I want more, you know?
I've been really trying to work on a new 5 minutes, and it's like that
I
that
saw some
situation.
of your stuff. It's really good. Sorry.
Thank you. Like
Only compliment you'll ever get from me.
because I'm like I need to put together at least 10-minute set for this Dubbo show. So I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
of course.
I need to have a fucking good 10-minute set because I don't want to book my own show and bomb. Like, like if you want a reason to write jokes, it's start booking your own shows,
Yeah.
and then like you've got to write, but yeah, it's
Can I say one of my mates mentioned you the other day?
oh really
From the Wicco show. You remember when you were riffing?
yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't record it because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That
but,
was
yeah.
lightning in a bottle.
Yeah,
and,
I know. You killed that.
yeah,
set.
and I lost the lid.
Yeah. You never had it, bro.
Mm.
But like, no, I was partying with them last night, and
Yeah.
we were talking about the Wicco because Adam was there.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to be like, oh yeah, you've seen him on stage. He was at the Wicco, and they were like, who? And it was like, well, obviously, you did great that set, Adam. Like,
Yeah.
but they were like, you know who we do remember? That dude who was like, and I can't remember what they said, but it was you. They were
Yeah.
talking about you, and they were like,
Nice.
oh, he was great.
Stroke my ego.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Well, we don't want to stroke anything else.
You couldn't if you tried.
Oh, it was good. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's one of those situations where it was just perfect. Like and I knew Mitch Garling. Mitch Garling's such a gentleman for fucking
he's
letting
lovely.
me riff because I knew he had some jokes like ready to go. Because I saw this moment where he looked at me, and because we followed the girl with the broken leg who did this fucking awesome
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, you
musical
had to
You
set.
did
follow
that
that.
great bit about sit down comedy and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be stand up while you're sitting down.
I
or
was
something
like,
that.
yeah, no, I've fucking. She got. It's her first time doing comedy. I was like, it's her first time doing comedy. She got 3 applause breaks, and she can't even stand up. Like, and I was just like, and I remember seeing Mitch, and he's looked at me because I walked up to him in the middle of her set because I'd already like thought about it. And I was like, dude, please just bring me straight on. Don't try and do it.
Yeah.
And he had that like look of because when someone fucking destroys like that, you should bring the room back down.
Yeah, you should reset it.
Yeah, 100%. And I knew he was like, oh, all right.
He
He
had
asked
much faith
for it.
in you.
Yeah. He asked for it, and I knew he had.
It's
He
open
probably,
mic, like,
yeah, he
fuck,
probably
what's
had
the
some
worst?
riffs as well. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, all right, yeah, brought me straight up, and I was so thankful for that. And I was
Gentleman.
like, and it worked out too, because if I'd have got up and started riffing and it bombed,
Yeah.
that might have been
You might have
almost
lost
as
your
good.
nerve by the time you got up
Oh,
there, you know.
yeah. So.
I did that at the Movember showcase, actually. Like, right after Adam set when he bombed so fucking
you-
hard.
Oh,
That was savage.
that will.
Yeah, that was. But like literally, because I was worried that Jason was gonna like bring down, because I knew my riffs had to be like immediately afterward, right? So I told
Yeah.
him like just bring me straight up because I was
Yeah.
like, I got a hot riff, let's do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And fuck, it paid off for me.
Oh, yeah.
I give him shit about that night all the time because he's like, oh, I bombed so hard. I'm like, yeah, but I love that you did because it set me up so fucking good. Like,
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I was like, I never get nervous before sets because I've got no self awareness whatsoever. I just don't give a fuck. We were joking
ready
about
for
it. Yeah, we were joking about it before. I'm like, I'm only getting up for me. I don't like. I was like, I don't care if I bomb, and that's a wrong way to be in comedy. But it was like,
no, it's not. That's the perfect way to be.
yeah,
You'll take
like,
more risks. You'll try more shit.
yeah. I
That's how
agree
you
there.
become
But
better.
Yeah,
at the same
Yeah.
time, like what we were talking about yesterday, how like if you don't try, then you can't fail. There's that side of it as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're
You
don't
that
wanna be
type,
like that.
that's
No,
bullshit.
that's not. Yeah,
don't do
that's 100%. Like, I still want people to enjoy watching me. When I first started in comedy, I was like, any reaction is good because I'm just an attention whore.
Yeah.
And
That's,
I was
to
like,
be honest, that's fair though, because if you can elicit a reaction, you can get the comedy out. Like you can get that reaction to.
yeah, yeah,
Like I've got this one joke where literally the reaction is always very strong to this one line I do, and it's like it's perfect though because that's like that brings them right back in.
Is that
yeah.
the dick cheese line.
Yes, yes.
How the fuck?
How did you know?
I
Because
thought it was
is,
a
it's
roller
always-
coaster line.
Oh,
I was
no,
thinking,
that one's always a good reaction actually.
yeah.
But like the
Dick
dick
cheese
cheese
is
one
always like,
is
"Oh."
always a very like oh,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
laughter.
Because no one likes dick cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
awful.
And it's a very visual image of it
Yeah.
too. But like it always gets them. Like it's one of I love it. I love
I
that
love dick
punchline
cheese.
so fucking much.
The-
Yeah, big
I'm
fan
I'm all
of dick
about
cheese. Jesus Christ. I swear it's much more eloquent than the way that Ethan put it. I'm not just on stage just like screaming dick cheese. Like
No, you're punching holes in walls
No.
too. Ha! Call back. See, I can do comedy.
can you though?
No.
It was going so well.
Oh, I know, good.
I know.
Mitch had to
I have to
speak.
reset the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, let's bring the room down.
I'm like, oh, people.
And then keep
yeah.
it there. Just
Our 3
like-
listeners are probably going to be really enjoying this at the moment.
Yeah.
So I better fuck that up for
That
them.
set you had at the Black Butt though. Like, was it the last one? I don't know. My parents turned up to it. It was
Yeah.
fucked. I was like, this is shit. They didn't even ask. They were just like, I get home from work and they're like, we're coming to watch you do comedy tonight. I'm like, I don't get a say in this.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah.
like, no, we're coming. I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh,
okay.
fuck, all right.
But you've
Yeah.
been doing it long enough. Like
Yeah,
they're
I
probably
didn't-
like,
I
it's
didn't
about
care.
time.
It was fine.
Yeah. You
But,
did a good set. What are you talking
It
about?
was all right, yeah. But you fucking killed. Like,
Yeah.
you had something going on where you were like, you just had
I think that was
extra
like the.
shit.
I think that was the time that dude. I think like the night before, I'd taken this dude home who threw up in my sick and flooded my apartment.
Right, yeah.
So was it that one?
It could have been.
No, actually, I don't think it was. I was there because I was doing the.
It wasn't straight after that, but you did mention it, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, because I've written a few bits for it.
Yeah.
Do you want a beer?
I've got one.
You want a top up?
No, it's
All
like
right.
still 3/4 full.
Pussy.
I've just been drunk 2 nights in a fucking row and I'm about to
Yeah.
go to a party after this. You're a fucking pussy. You probably like me, motherfucker, and then...
Yeah,
Actually,
alright,
if you gave me bourbon, I'd drink it down, but I'm just not a big beer drinker.
Let's get into Ethan's dad's liquor cabinet.
Yeah. No, because I got to drive later to get to the party,
Oh,
and then
okay,
I'll
yeah.
drink.
Where's the party?
You're not... No invitation.
Ah.
Nice try, bitch. I know what you're doing. It's a pool party out in Hamilton, but yeah, few mates there. Actually,
Few people.
it's kind of funny. I've made friends with a bunch of people in the kink scene.
Please elaborate.
It's so funny. Okay, so like one of the comedians, right, hasn't been around
Name
in a
drop.
while. No,
Please.
no, I'm not going to give you
This
his name.
kinky motherfucker that hasn't been around in a while.
Yeah,
I'm
no, he
not-
hasn't been in the scene for a while, but he tried comedy like I don't know for like 6 months or so, and then he sort of dropped out. But like before he dropped out, he invited all the comedians and a bunch of his kink mates to a party, and the way he did it was just by adding everybody, all the comedians, to the kink group chat. I was like, okay, and so we went to the party, had a fun time.
Where
all
was
good.
my invite?
Yeah, well, you're a loser. No, I'm just... no,
Nobody
I
wants to
had no
fuck
idea.
you.
You weren't part of this group chat?
No,
Fuck.
probably not.
When was this? 6
Anyway.
months ago?
Yeah, this was ages ago.
Oh,
this,
shit.
this is the start of the story. Okay?
Yeah, anyway.
And so,
Well,
like,
where was my fucking invite?
well,
Yeah.
you got invited either.
No,
Fuck.
I like
Ethan's
kinky
right
shit.
up
I
that.
was
Yeah.
like, Chris was there, Mark was there.
Motherfucker.
I know.
All people that.
can't
Now I
remember
know
who
who
else
it
was
is.
invited, but
From
that's who the- yeah.
like deduction, I know who you're talking about now.
Do
but-
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Who is
anyway.
it? Drop their name.
No, I won't do that. But like,
It was that motherfucker.
Oh!
He didn't invite me.
you did.
Oh
know.
yeah.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. I knew about. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
about him. Yeah.
You
I'm trying not to be
motherfucker.
like, so yeah, we
Yeah.
had a party, right, and it was just a normal party. But then, like, after the party, every one of the comedians left the group chat. But I don't leave for shit, okay? I don't. So I stayed in the group chat. So every now and then he'd post a thing in the chat again going, oh, having another party or whatever.
Right.
And then from that, I met a bunch of people in the scene. And then they added me to this other group
The
chat.
kink scene?
Yeah,
Yeah,
from the scene.
yeah.
Yeah. And then from that, they added me to this other group chat they had, which was full of the kink scene, but it was for people going to trivia. So I was going out to trivia with them.
Kinky trivia.
Yeah. No, because it's just a community. You know, it's like
Yeah.
if I invited you guys over
Yeah.
for a barbecue. We're
Except
in the
we
comedy
fuck
scene
each other's
together.
assholes. At
Yeah.
the end of it.
No.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Wrong type of scene.
You know what I mean? No.
My
Like it's
bad.
just like it's
This is
community.
why I'm
That was why you weren't invited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a community of people interested in the same thing. That's all it is.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
us being interested in comedy, hanging out without doing comedy. Like it's,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
Not with Mitch, but you know it happens.
Yeah. No. Look, honestly, I don't blame him. I wouldn't invite me
Yeah.
either.
Anyway, so like
That's just sad.
I'm part of that group chat
Aw.
because of it. So now I get invited to parties all the time from that group chat.
Right.
And I'll show up to these parties and every now and then, like it'll just be a normal party. Then at the end, by the time everyone's fucked up, they'll just start bringing out like canes and floggers and shit. And I'll be like, oh, I guess this is the kind of parties I go to now. Like this is just, I'll just
So
be
they do fuck
sitting
at the
there
end of
getting
it. Yeah.
drunk or some chicks just getting specked in the corner and I'm like, okay, all right then. It's very interesting. I'm gonna say, like, yeah.
Why
They
hasn't
love
Woody
people,
written
though.
bits on that?
I don't
That
know.
seems like-
It seems like I don't know. It's probably a private thing, which is why I didn't want to say his fucking name.
Oh, we can bleep it. That's fine.
We're not going to bleep it.
We'll
Don't
get
bleep
We'll
it.
get him on.
Yeah.
We'll get him on to talk about it.
Oh.
That'll
yeah.
be interesting.
This fucking thing.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like a secret society. He's not allowed to talk about it.
Well,
But-
the party that I went to, the first party I went to at his, that's when that. Do you remember that story I told you about that dude who told me to shut
Oh,
up
the
because I was a woman?
misogynistic dude, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be kinky. That's
Yeah.
Fuck no.
That
it
was just
bad.
dirty
Yeah.
talk.
I full on lectured him though.
Yeah.
I bet.
I enjoyed lecturing, so I
We
actually
know.
enjoyed it. It was good. I wasn't even angry then. I was just, well, I was, but I wasn't like angry. I was just more like, all right, let this fucker have it.
You're a
Like-
piece of- yeah. That's yeah. I was like, that's like just being a piece of shit right
yeah,
there.
yeah. He did come and apologise, I will say that. But I'm not sure whether it was an apology because he meant it or because it was an apology to keep the peace.
Yeah, because he's like, this is the only group that will let me jerk off in the corner.
No, they don't do that. Fuck off.
That's why you're not
I'm
invited.
painting the scene the wrong way now. Like, it's...
I'm just going to start these rumours.
Oh, Jesus. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No.
My bad.
Honestly, like, you're looking at probably the only two dudes who actually don't give a fuck, who are just like, literally like, oh, yeah, sweet. But we're just trying to be funny. So
Trying being the operative word.
Yeah. It's always
That's
trying.
okay. Aren't you like polyamorous or no?
Oh,
Aren't you
He's
guys
bi.
polyamorous?
Ethan's bi.
I'm
Well, yeah, bi's not the same as polyamorous. I didn't.
I
get
know.
confused.
But he's like,
being polyamorous requires both parties to be polyamorous.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
Ethan's polyamorous. His missus isn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's a
Jesus.
cockblock.
That-
I want all the cocks. I can't have any of them because she's in the way
Christ.
with a big shield guarding me from dicks.
I'm friends with your partner too, so I'm gonna be like nah. Now this shit is public. Like she's gonna find
Oh,
out.
straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. What? How do we get onto this?
I brought it
Parties.
up like a dickhead. I did.
Yeah,
The
parties.
first rule of Kink Club is you don't
Don't
talk
talk
about
about
Kink Club.
No, the first rule of King Club is consent is important. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can I please beat you with this object?
Well, yeah. That's why you're not invited. You made that sound the least sexy that you possibly could.
That was the joke.
Can I please show you my passion? That's a callback, Mitch. Okay. Oh Jesus Christ!
So, yeah, back.
Was there a point to this conversation?
We were talking about Dubbo Fringe and,
Oh, right,
organising
Double
a
Fringe. And then we got on to spanking.
Yeah, I think it's because I wanted to do a promo where all the comedians fight.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
why
how
you
we
got
got
into
there.
spanking.
because you're a violent motherfucker.
Yeah, he is.
I used to be, not so much anymore.
Now-
I'm
now you're the one
fucking
getting
real
You've already told the
chill.
baseball story on here, haven't you?
The bat in his
the
car.
baseball bat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, yeah. I
You're a
told that.
psycho.
Yeah,
He tells it with such pride too. He's like, "Yeah, nah, sick. Had this bat." And
I can
then,
only
and then
laugh.
he did it at Black
Men
Butt.
always fucking do that. Jesus Christ.
He did it at Black Butt in
Yeah.
front of Matty B. You're like,
Yeah.
I was coming to watch you record your special, and I nearly killed someone with
Yeah.
with a bat.
You
I'm,
Yeah.
sounded like
I'm
a lunatic.
yeah. I'm a huge fan, by the way.
yeah.
And Matty was like, "No, that's cool. I appreciate having fans." He just rolled with
Why
it.
am I a part of this story?
Oh.
It was so funny.
100% true as well.
I'm
Like,
sure anybody in that audience who didn't know you was like genuinely freaked out, but
I
because
know.
we know you, it was fucking hilarious.
yeah. Yeah, that was purely a story just for the comedians. Everyone's like, you're going to start telling jokes? And I was just like, anyway, we should hit children.
It was just literally in that vein of like telling this huge, long, complicated story and then be like, oh, anyway, so I met you the next day.
Yeah.
Like, they're not related at all. Like, why were they brought together?
I would have looked like a lunatic too, because I went from like doing a like nearly getting like sent to jail to going to a comedy show and having a fucking ball, like laughing and joking and stuff like that. Thanks, mate.
Fucking on top of
how,
it.
how do we make Mitch sound softer?
Yeah.
Duct tape.
He's fully hard at the moment.
Oh,
He's talking
jeez.
about bats and killing people. We're not going to get him softer.
Oh, no.
And people, I don't look like if I was looking at me, like if I was someone else looking at me and listened to me telling my stories, he'd be like, nah, look at this guy. Come on, mate. I'm like, that's the problem. That's where I get my little man syndrome from.
Yeah. I tend to find little men have it, well, not always, obviously, but I feel like, no offense. But I tend to find they have that syndrome more often. Like, you know,
Yeah,
that thing
it's
of
a
trying to
legit,
seem
it's a
like,
legit
oops,
little
like
man
trying to seem
syndrome.
like a,
yeah. I'm absolute.
It's an ego thing. I
Legit,
guess.
I try and laugh about it because I'm so fucking embarrassed about the way I used to act. And yeah, it's like, You can only
Used
joke
to.
about
I think
it.
we all are, like, when we were
Yeah.
20, we all acted like a dickhead once before, and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. You
The
know?
first date Tanya and I had, I jumped out of the car and nearly bashed a dude at a set of lights.
She's like, I'm gonna marry this guy.
Yeah. She's like,
It was
"Oh."
love at first punch, you know?
It was so awkward after it happened too. So I was like, well, that got out of hand. And she's like verge of a panic attack, like, holy
Jesus
fuck.
Christ.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah.
It's the danger that draws them in.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to think your wife has issues, like, who's dating
I
you.
was like, straight up, I'm like, I'm probably going to go to counselling now.
Yeah.
I was like, that was bad. It was funny too, because I went to counselling about it. I went and saw a psychologist. I was like, hey, so I'm jumping out of cars and picking fights in intersections. And
How
they're
do
like,
I fix it? Probably.
they're like,
stop.
don't do that. Yeah. She's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Wow. How much did I pay for this session again? Like,
Nah, defense covered it. It was fucking sick.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I think half of those things are like trying to make you come to the own conclusion by yourself anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a chance to vent sort of idea and get your
Oh yeah,
frustration
it's
out.
good. It's good, like just talking through things
Yeah.
where someone can be like, "Nah, Mitch, you've been a fucking psycho. So settle down."
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not smart to follow people home because they cut you off in traffic. Oh, really? Here's $200.
Oh Jesus. How old were you when all this, like, you know, when you were a dickhead?
Old enough to know better.
Yeah.
From like 9 years old.
Who's
I
following
think
people
they
home?
start
No,
that
yeah,
early.
8 years old.
I remember
8
the
years
first
old.
person I followed home at 8.
Yeah,
Oh my
8
God.
years old until
Remember some dude in a curtain
21.
going, there's a 9-year-old outside just staring at the building. He's
Yeah.
like, he's just... you just imagine the image of a short bitch, just a tiny ass
And
bitch.
for some reason, he's fat too back then. He's a little fat kid.
it was even worse. I was this little small skinny kid because I had asthma and like I
Oh,
didn't,
no.
so I was just this little fucking angry little like Ethan skinny. You look at me, like you look at photos of when I was a kid. I was this cute little kid, and Mum's like, "You were so cute back then." And then I tried to drown my brother in our pool.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I had some problems.
Yeah.
I've worked through them now. I'm
Suddenly
a lot-
thinking about being nicer to you now, bitch. What the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
no, like I fucking this one. This isn't me bragging. This is me like I had problems when I was a kid. We were in a. It was the first time it really sort of rung alarm bells for people around me where they were like, "This kid's got a problem," because I never got caught for it before. And I was at this school in Tuncurry, and it was like a good school, like well-to-do families. So I went from a San Remo public school, North Lakes Public, they called it, where fights were pretty common, and I got beat up a couple of times there. And then I went to, so I was like a small fish in a big pond where there's all like housing commission kids, and I was getting beat up lots. And then I went to Tuncurry, and like everyone's like their parents are good parents, and not that mine weren't, but like they were just like not used to dealing with thug children,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
thug
And you were being brought up
9-year-olds.
in it.
And this kid, like we were on the monkey bars, and I'm like we were like having turns, and another kid like walked up and like threw him off, like I pushed him or something. He fell off the monkey bars, and he thought it was me. So he turned around and he just slapped me across the chest, like, silly Mitch. And I fucking decked him. Like,
I should be laughing at kids getting
yeah,
punched, but
yeah, like 3 times, like punched him in the head, and he ran around
Jesus.
squealing, thinking he was George, bro. Like, ah! And I was just like, what a sook.
Oh,
And then I got pulled into the fucking deputies, and he's like, and he didn't realize I'd been called into the deputies quite a few times, the last time I was in a deputy's office, they had to restrain me because I tried to break his trophy cabinet.
Jesus Christ.
Smash his trophy cabinet.
Mitch was a
I was
fucking insane
yeah.
kid.
So there was like that was me at like 8,
I'm
9
beginning
years
to
old.
think, yeah, there might be something wrong with him.
Yeah. So all through
Beginning?
like primary
Yeah.
school, and then me and Ethan, it got to the point where like violence for me was just a matter of fact. And I remember Ethan got into an argument with a kid at school because Ethan and I went to high school together, and he punched a kid for some reason, and the kid turned around and like pushed his head. No, Ethan pushed his head into the wall, and the other kid like. Turned around and punched him, and Ethan's like, "Yeah, no, that was fair enough." And I was straight up like, "Hey, Ethan, you just want me to bash this cunt?" And I was like, and I
friends
was
for
like
life.
100% calm, like I will just straight up do this right now. And Ethan's like, "No." He's
I
like,
deserved the punch in the head.
yeah. It's like I deserved it. I'm like, I'll still do it though. And I remember
It's any excuse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why does that make my heart go, oh, friendship? You know, like...
Yeah.
same with
It's
Kyle.
kind of slightly heartwarming.
My
but
mate,
also
yeah.
worrying. But
My
like-
mate Kyle, he got into a fight with a kid at school, and the kid put him in an arm lock, and Kyle's like backwards like this, and I remember like I was watching the fight, and I was like, I leaned over to Kyle like a child. I'm like, "You want me to jump in, mate? I'll fuck him up for you." And Kyle's like, "Nah."
So condescending. You want me to jump in there?
Yeah.
You look like you're having a bit of a tough time. You look like you're struggling a bit.
Yeah.
If only
so-
we could do the same for him on stage.
Nah, just stop. Hey, mate.
Hey, mate, you appear
want
to
me-
be bombing.
Yeah. Want me to
Just
step in
start-
there
yeah,
and do some
yeah.
real comedy? You know?
Someone, you just need to give someone else a microphone. They just climb up on stage and start their set. I'll just be like, "Oh, I guess I'll leave now."
Just play them playing off music.
Oh,
just like
fuck.
they do at the Oscars.
You're too nice with some people
am,
who
I
run
know,
the
I am.
light. Like,
know.
fuck, it upsets me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it upsets me when like people are running the light and they see the light and I'm like, how do you not know the light?
That's when it pisses me off. When they've clearly seen it and they're still going.
yeah,
That's when I'm like, you're a motherfucker. But like I'm very like lenient with people who don't know. Like if they're a new person and they don't know the light system, or they're just so unself-aware. Is that a word? I don't know. Whatever. Like they're just not aware of the surroundings, and they're so nervous about their first time on stage that they're not paying attention.
yeah,
Like then I'll be lenient. That's why I don't, because imagine the psychological thing of doing your first time of comedy and then getting played off by music. Like, can you imagine? It'd be like, dude, you suck so bad that I
you're
had to
so
get
much
you
more
off.
empathetic than I am.
Yeah, it's because I'm interested in nurturing the scene, not bashing it. You
Yeah.
know? Like, Jesus.
Oh, like, I'm like super supportive of like comedians. I'm always like complimenting people, like telling them like, "Hey man," like I've reached out to comedians who've missed a couple of sets and be like, "Hey, you need to come back. Like, what's going on?"
Oh,
and,
fuck, I
and
didn't know
stuff
that.
like
That's
that.
good.
Yeah. So like I'm not a fucking complete asshole, but also it's like don't like if you're running the light, it doesn't just affect you. It affects
affects the rest of the
everyone.
people.
Yeah. And that's why we had to start the sign-ups. And that was one
Yeah.
of the nights where I was like, it really annoyed me.
It really pissed me off that night as well.
Yeah.
Because it was literally people going 7 minutes, well, not 7 minutes over, but it was like supposed to be 5-minute sets. Oh no, we switched everyone to 4.
And then
Yeah.
And then they were doing 7-minute sets, and I'm like, dude. And by the end of the night, we were going to run over, so I had to shove everyone down to 3-minute sets.
Yeah.
And I was so annoyed at that because because you were being selfish or not paying attention, all these people who have been waiting all night,
Yeah.
now have to do shorter sets, and I was really annoyed about it. And that's when I was like, nah.
And you're paying
This
an
is
MC to be there. That's
Yeah.
the thing. If you're
Yeah.
not paying anyone, like you're MCing yourself and you don't give a fuck, and the venue doesn't care how long you go for.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is that venue does though.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they
They
their
need-
bar stuff as well. They want to go
Their
home.
bar stuff are closing most of the time. Like
Yeah,
as soon
by
as
the
that
time we
show
get to the
ends,
end
they're
of the
like,
show.
bang,
Yeah.
pack it up, fuck off. Which
Yeah.
I get because if I was working there, I'm like, I've heard all this shit every other
Yeah.
week. I'm fucking done with my shift. I want to go home.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
fuck this.
Yeah. So like those sort of things like really upsets me. But I'm not like a complete fucking asshole. Like I genuinely like I'll reach out to people and be, hey man, like
Yeah.
Like-
and just so you know, I do give them shit about it afterwards.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think
good.
Luke
I'm
Dillon
sure.
did 10 minutes once at the Punchline, and I gave him so much shit about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And he's never done it since.
Yeah.
He's never done it since.
Yeah.
And it was just literally, I don't
Fast
think he
learner.
was aware. And he was destroying. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
like he was bombing on stage for 10 minutes. He was destroying.
Yeah.
Um,
Those instances are forgivable. Like
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you know what, you're destroying. Like I've seen
Well, it does make your night better.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It makes the next person have a
10
better
minutes
set.
of dying
Yeah.
definitely brings down the mood.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, it's I'm mindful of it, and look, we've all done it. We've all like
Yeah.
gone too long or
Dude, my whole every night I go overtime compared to everyone else.
But it's your show, and you
Yeah.
finish the show. So
That's one of the reasons why I put myself at the end,
Perks
so
of the job.
it doesn't like affect the show.
Yeah.
And
But
yeah,
it's not like you're doing fucking heaps over.
no, I only do. I usually do like 8 or 10 minutes when
Yeah.
it's 5-minute sets.
yeah.
Not intentionally. Like I'll just go until I feel the room needs to. Like I need to stop.
Like
what I
you were
mean?
saying before, yeah. And then leave them on a banger.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's just one of those things. So I'm like, when I saw that and I was like, fuck, that really, really annoyed me. And I was like mindful that, and when you see new people, I tend to take a dimmer view of it. But like you said, it's their first time. They don't understand. So
Don't know the process. I do. Here's the thing. I send an email out to everyone who's on the lineup, telling them the process, but nobody fucking reads.
yeah,
And
no, I
like-
Is
don't
my
read
name
that.
on it? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I'll be
that's
there.
all they fucking care about. And
Yeah.
I was like, I've been thinking about changing the process so that you're forced to read it before I give you where you are in the lineup. And then I'm like, but that makes more work for me. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I couldn't be stuffed. I've been spending like.
And
the
I would
whole-
say 95% of the people know the process and don't run the light.
It's not.
So-
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
up to you to teach them that shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's up to them to fucking.
I've also got to
be
push the
decent.
MC to say it a bit earlier, like at the beginning of the show
Oh,
anyway.
yeah,
I
true.
don't really push him to do it because I expect everyone to know it at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
But when we do have newbies, they are still learning, and I forget. I was like, oh fuck, I didn't tell them about the light system, mate. Like, it wasn't in the email, but again, like we know nobody fucking reads.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but also, why do you think there's people suddenly putting up a fucking light? Do you think they're filming
Well,
you?
I swear to God, we
Maybe,
get
yeah.
sometimes with there's like
Like-
4 people in the audience, all lighting. People like, come on, get the fuck off the stage. Like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of, it makes me laugh because I'm like, this is hilarious that
Yeah.
this many people are involved and invested in getting this person off stage. Like,
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah.
And the whole room's like quiet and they're still going and there's their
Yeah.
lights and you're like, oh, this
I
is...
tell you what, sometimes I'll get caught by this one. Liam does this to me a lot when he's on stage because I'll go to light someone and then they'll go, I'll finish with this one. And so I go, oh, okay, I don't need to light them. This is
Yeah.
their last joke. All good. And then they'll get to the end of the joke and they haven't seen the light. So they assume that they've still got like another minute. So they get into another, and then I'm like, oh shit, my bad. And I'm like, then I'll light them. But then they'll go like a minute over time because
Yeah.
they don't realise
So if
So-
you want more time, finish on.
Yeah.
I'll finish with this.
No, I've learned my lesson now. I'll
you
still
don't do
light
it?
them now
Yeah,
because
just time it.
I've been caught like twice by it. Because I think Liam ended up doing 7 minutes one night. Because also
Yeah.
because his last jokes are never like one-liners.
Yeah, and
it's
he would have
always
been
a
doing
longer
well.
bit.
So if he's ever not doing as well, I've noticed he's very self-aware and will be like,
Oh yeah, well he's a good comedian.
He'll finish on a laugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You're gonna drive it down into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a laugh out there. I know.
Yeah,
Just gotta-
Oh, yeah. Fuck. I've done it. You keep chasing the laugh. You just keep going. You're like, oh, fuck. Maybe the next one.
Yeah.
Nah, maybe the next one. Oh,
It does,
I'll
like,
get
'cause
him
you'll
with this
eventually
one.
run out of good material, and then you're just stuck on a bad joke to end it.
If
It's
only.
like-
If only there was good material.
So what's going on with the sign-ups and that? Because like, are people just not signing up? I haven't seen some people in a bit. Or are they in
I
rotation?
think it was,
or?
no, it's on a rotation. The last couple of
Yeah.
shows though, everyone who's signed up has been getting on, just
Right.
because of the fact that I think it's Christmas season, so a lot of people have
People
been
have
away and
been
that
out.
sort of stuff.
Yep, fair enough.
So I'm assuming it will go back up
All us
again.
losers that have got nothing better to do
Yeah.
than comedy. We're all getting on.
Yeah, we
That's
also
good.
used to have a bunch of people from Sydney come down, but because of
Yeah.
lockdowns, they haven't been.
Right.
Good.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I had this one guy who did sign up from Sydney, and I was worried about it. And then he sent me a message going, actually, because of the lockdown, I think it's probably best. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because
Yeah.
I was concerned. Yeah.
Don't you fucking be patient zero for Newcastle.
Yeah,
cunt.
yeah. I'm terrified that there will be an outbreak at one of my shows, and then it will be
We've
like
had a
forever
very fucking good
associated.
run up here. Like a very good run.
Yeah, we don't have any cases in Newcastle
No.
right
No,
now.
it's been close, and there's been like people at like Raymond Terrace and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, they've just been passing through. But I get
Yeah,
worried
people
with
travelling
Shaz's
through.
work because people come up from Sydney to go to that shit, and then I'm like, fuck, if I get sick, like passed on from her.
You good for beer?
Yeah, I'm good, doll.
All right. I
Thank
thought so.
you.
I assumed. I was going to ask, but I was like, no.
She's the real life of this show.
Yeah.
She really is.
She provides the beer.
And if you listen closely, you might hear a giggle.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I was going to say, not if she's listening to this. She'd be out in the other room watching a good comedy special.
Oh,
and
yeah.
giggling at that. Like,
She's like, I'm just going to watch Chappelle.
yeah.
Oh man, I watched Kevin Hart's new special.
Me too, yeah.
he did it in his own fucking
House.
house, and he's got like this giant stage in his house. I'm like,
Jesus,
you
the dude
motherfucker.
is rich as fuck.
Yeah, loaded.
So rich.
And I was super stoned at the time, and I had like a little bit of weed, and then I'm like, it was like midnight. I'm like, I'm just gonna like curl up in bed, be like, yeah, just laugh at this shit. I was like all comfy, and then this fucking cockroach like comes out and just starts running around my room. I'm like, for fuck's sake, and I'm like chasing it down, and it starts flying, and it's like coming at me. I'm just like, fuck.
You were stoned at the time,
Oh,
too.
super stoned. And I'm like, this is way too intense to deal with. I grab a tissue to like grab it and flush it, and then I grab it on the wall and I like pinch it too hard because it's trying to squirm away, and I get like half of it, and like the front half runs away, and I've got like the back half in my hand. I'm just like, cool. So now there's half a cockroach running around my room somewhere.
So let me get this straight. Kevin Hart made you think of half a cockroach.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
fucked
That's
up
where
my
your
night.
mind goes.
Yeah, well, I was watching his special.
At
In the
other
back of
side
my
of
head
it,
the whole time, I'm like, there's half a cockroach running around here somewhere. And he's pissed.
Yeah.
And
He
probably
wants revenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm gonna shit in this guy's
Yeah.
beer
Yeah.
or something.
Good,
Yeah.
good special though. I thought.
Yeah, I liked it.
I haven't watched it. I don't watch many
It's
specials.
mainly about Corona, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Half of it is about Corona,
Yeah, 'cause
and then
he-
the other half
Fucking
is about
hack.
family.
He had it. He had Corona.
Yeah, he had it.
I bet he got over it straight
He
away.
got it at the same time as Tom Hanks got it. So
Yeah.
he couldn't-
Yeah, he's like, you fucking overshadowed me. God damn it.
He's on
Stop
Twitter.
being more
I've
famous
got
than me."
Corona
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's like, where's my recognition?
Yeah.
I've got the sniffles. No.
I watched his documentary. It was
Oh, I haven't
right
watched that
around.
yet.
It was right around. It was literally following him around the time that pre, during, and post his affair, and like when he got. I don't want to say Me Too because he didn't get Me Too, but like when they pulled
came
out the
close,
old.
though.
They pulled out the old like messages where he
Yeah.
like had some homophobic jokes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got.
And he
like,
wouldn't
cancel culture.
he wouldn't apologize as well. And everyone's around him's like, dude, just apologize. Like, and he's like, no, like you can't pull up like old jokes. Of course I don't feel that way. It was a joke. And back then it wasn't that bad. And it's like, nah, it doesn't matter, dude. And he's like, no, fuck you. And it cost him like a lot of money. He couldn't host the Emmys, and
It cost him a lot of shit. But the thing is, like, I don't know if you know much about his history or something, but I heard him interviewed on the Joe Rogan podcast. And the dude is inspirational as fuck.
100%,
he is hardworking. He is like, and obviously, like, this wasn't a great thing, but fuck. Apart from that, like, he's gone back on his feet, and you know what I mean. He's still pushing forward.
I
Yeah,
think
he's still like the richest comedian in the world.
Yeah.
He's fucking killing it more than anyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was him and Louis, and
Yeah.
they got Louis.
They got him. They tried to get Kevin, little bastard.
Yeah.
He slipped
Go
out.
over there,
Like,
Yeah,
we'll
Eddie
get
Murphy
Louis.
got ahead of it before he got Me Too. He came out
yeah.
early and said, I apologise for the special because he
Yeah.
says like the F word a lot. And
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you watch it now and you're like, geez, this is
yeah,
hate
there's
speech.
so much. much in there that you're like, what the? But there's also so many great bits in there as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's.
That's the context of it.
Dude.
Like it was fine. To
It was
say
the
that, but-
80s.
At the time, like they'd use that word constantly during
Like
comedy.
40 years ago.
It's like because in comedy, you're always searching for that word that has an instant reaction.
Exactly.
Because it's
Louis
paying
C.K.'s
attention. You
bit
get it.
on
Yeah.
on the word faggots, like
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Bit where it's
George
like,
Carlin's bit on the N word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I'm of the belief if you're trying to make a joke, I don't believe there's anything wrong with as long as it's funny. All right, as long as you're not trying to hurt
but
someone.
What's funny to use different.
No.
words, funny
As long as you're not
sometimes. That's
actively
where
trying
the-
to hurt someone, like
Yeah.
I think that's where you
I
should
have
You
a
draw
can
the line.
slightly
inadvertently
different view.
hurt someone.
Slightly different view.
Yeah.
Because like I don't believe any topic should be banned about being joked about. I don't believe in banning it. But I do think like if it's not clever what you're saying on stage, then all you are is saying shit on stage.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It has to be like we talk about the rule where it's going to be like 3 times as funny as it is offensive.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Because like if you can respect the art and craft of the way they used and spoke about the topic, I feel like it's a joke. But like a lot of the stuff in Eddie Murphy's bits, like again, amazing comedian, love him. But like a lot of the time he would use that word as the punchline, and that's why it was like a thing.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was
100%. Yeah,
because he could get an extra laugh just by saying that, or just by putting out like a contemptuous word out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why. And so he apologized for that.
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like
He apologised for kind of being a hack.
yeah. Well, like
Yeah. He's
that's-
like, don't look at my ass, you
Yeah.
faggots.
Yeah.
You're like,
Christ,
Jesus, dude, don't say that. That's mean, asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a giggle. It's like, oh, Mitch is trying to be PC.
No, but I don't call people that name. I call Ethan
No,
that
neither
name,
do I.
but not officially. Like not in.
Only when he's fucking my ass.
Yeah. We're kinky. We like to dirty talk.
No, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
There's
as long as
nothing
it's funny. You can.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone can say whatever they want. Like you can go up on stage and say whatever
Yeah.
the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't like.
But people are going to react to it a certain
Yeah.
way, and you're going to have to wear that. And
Yeah.
if you're not
Yeah.
okay with fucking wearing what happens, then don't say that
I
shit.
think somebody made a point to me once that like if you can't say that in front of somebody who like for example
Your
like
parents.
if you felt like you couldn't say that in front of a gay person and
Yeah.
feel comfortable
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah.
then you probably shouldn't be saying it on stage. And it makes sense to me because I like
Yeah.
Because
I had
there'll be
this-
gay people in the crowd that you don't
Yeah.
know are there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I
Yeah.
think it's woken me up, like, because, like, you always write jokes and you always talk about the word and crafting, and it's like a puzzle piece putting the words together in a white way. So sometimes, like, we'll write jokes that we know can't be said on stage. But,
Yeah.
like, our brain put it together, so, we'll be like, okay, there was a joke. Clearly not a thing I can say on stage. And I've had a few jokes that I've written that I've said them on stage. Because, like, when you're a new comedian, you just try everything that you write.
Yeah.
And then like later on, I thought of that and I was like going to show someone one of my sets, like a video I took of one of my sets, and I was like, it's getting towards this joke that directly relates to his culture, and I suddenly went, oh, I'm not comfortable with showing this to him.
Yeah.
I will stop telling that joke.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it was a wake up. I was like, yeah, clearly if I don't feel comfortable showing him, then I do think it's a problem and I shouldn't be saying
That's
it.
why they say don't put your shit out early. Like,
Yeah,
don't put your
because when you're
sets
still learning.
out. Yeah, because you're
you shouldn't
learning.
be.
And you might think you're doing well, and you could be doing well.
be
in
doing
in the
great.
context of doing an open
Yeah.
mic or whatever. But, yeah, like,
I do hope that anybody sees those jokes, because I do have to often defend comedians at open mics. So I'll get messages because I run the shows. So I'll get messages and some people will say, oh, this guy was really offensive, or this guy. And I'll be like, yeah, I totally get why you say that. Like, definitely. But also at the same time, I need you to know that he's done like all of like 5 sets.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize, he doesn't actually think that way. I know him personally. He's not
Yeah.
like that. But he was just
I'm
trying
sorry
to
you
be
had to
edgy
defend me
and
with.
yeah, oh yeah, I did have to do it for you too. Yeah.
yeah.
I wasn't
Have you
talking
had to
about
do
you.
it with me?
No.
Like,
Nobody
people don't remember
Nobody
the
remembers
sets.
you, Mitch. No, because all of your jokes are about you. They're
Yeah.
self-depreciating. So, like, you don't really... I don't think you've ever approached a topic that...
I've literally my new jokes. Like I've got the joke about beating children. I'm like, you should hit children.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing. But
and
then...
even then, it's like I'm purposely, the way my mind's working, and I could be completely wrong here because I've only been doing comedy for 2 years. So take this for what it is. So I'm like, I open it up with a super offensive line, like you should hit kids.
Yeah, because
And
it's
then
the
I
shock
give-
of saying it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah,
explain
yeah.
it, which
And
is
then-
the comedic technique.
Yeah, and then I run through the story of why you should A, you can't talk to children, and B, here's a story about when I was throwing rocks because my parents tried not to hit me.
Yeah. And about
And-
the fact that you should have been hit as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you see how you always bring it back to yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why you don't people don't tend to feel offended
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
when
why
I
you have a leg to stand on if
Yeah.
anyone argues with you about hitting kids.
Yeah.
You can-
I'm
Yeah.
just arguing that I should have been beaten as a
Yeah.
kid. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah.
So it's very clever that you do that. Only time I'll ever describe you as clever. But I think one of the new comedians got up and he's not absolutely new, but he doesn't show up to comedy a lot. So he has done under 10 sets, probably around 6 sets or something. And he got up and tried to do a joke about parking in a disabled spot. You remember this?
Nah.
Yeah.
Was-
It was a very good joke. It bombed. But the thing is, just so everyone knows, when it bombs on stage, there is no worse feeling. If you don't
it's a
learn...
self-correcting.
Yeah, it is very self-correcting. Because after that, you're like,
Wasn't for
okay,
me.
shitty
Yeah.
joke. And you never do it again,
Yeah.
you know? I've done that before where I've, I got up and I tried a joke and I was like, oh, okay, never tell that joke again. And I didn't, you know?
Yeah.
I've said this before, Ethan and I, because Ethan started comedy a couple of weeks before me.
Yeah.
He started and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a try too. And we're lucky in the fact that we're able to sort of be honest with each other. And Ethan's pulled me aside and be like, dude, stop doing that joke.
Yeah.
The nan
Yeah.
joke. It's it just makes everyone feel uncomfortable. And I was just oblivious. I was like, I'm just getting up for me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I was just chasing.
Well, because some people don't have the self-awareness to realize.
Well, I was just
that it's
chasing
making people
reactions.
uncomfortable.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is fun for me because I get a reaction. And Ethan's like, no, stop doing it. And then, as you go along, you're like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, I'm okay with bombing, but the next person's got to follow me.
Yeah.
And then they've, you make the MC's job harder. And, the next person's, it can,
And you make people not want to come to comedy
you can,
again. There's a
yeah,
literal thing that will happen.
yeah, and you can fucking a bad set can deflate an entire room,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can't, especially at open mic, you can't get it back.
But that's why you want the MC to really stress the fact that it is open mic.
Yeah.
And we do have amateurs and don't base all of comedy on don't look at this show and go, oh, that's what comedy is, never coming again. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Because we are all amateurs, you know. And
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
you're an I've been doing it just over 2 years, and I'm awful. On this actual scale, and it's important to have self-awareness. On the actual scale, yeah, okay, I've had some really, really good sets.
You have.
Yeah, I've had some really, really good sets. But if I was to compare to myself to a person who's been doing it 3, 4, 5 years, I'm nowhere near.
Well, why
it.
would you though? You've only been doing it 2 years. So why
Exactly,
would you
but it's
compare
important to
yourself
have that. It's important to have that fucking.
To have somewhere to head to.
Yeah. I'm all right. I still don't know what I'm doing. I think
Yeah.
you see every established comedian, you've got no idea what you're doing for the first 5 years.
Pretty much.
I fucking struggle. I can come up with premises.
And the problem is that because we're in the comedy scene, most people who do open mic comedy are narcissists and just think that they deserve way more than what they are. Everyone is
Yeah.
I could fucking do that. I should have gotten that spot.
Well, that's
on
why
that
you're
big
up there in
show.
the first place. It's
I've
because
gotten
you've seen
messages from people
people do
being
it.
like, "Why didn't I get a spot on that show?" And I was like, "Seriously?"
Yeah.
I
Are
can
you
tell you why,
serious?
but it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, you don't want me to tell you why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you and I were doing the fucking charity
The
thing,
Movember showcase.
yeah, the Movember showcase, I messaged you and I was like, Eddie, I want you to be 100% honest with me, and I'm not going to be upset.
Yeah.
If I'm not ready for this and you don't think my set's going to work, please tell me now, because the last thing I wanted was to get up and fucking bomb at my own show.
Yeah.
Especially a show that I'm telling my people I actually know about, my work friends and stuff, trying to sell tickets. I'm like, dude, that would have fucking. And I nearly bombed as well. I fucking.
No, you just got up nervous.
Yeah,
It took
yeah,
you
no,
a
no.
second to get back
But
onto it.
yeah,
Like,
it took
you
me.
still
It
did
took
well.
me. It took me like there was a couple of hiccups at the start. But honestly, I felt like for me personally, it was like it's you're walking on a tightrope, and I'm like, yeah, there was a couple of hiccups, and I know my set like, and I fucking feel like a wanker saying it. I'm like, I know that set worked,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but it fucking if I hadn't have like corrected, it would have just kept going, and it's like. Yeah, I would have felt fucking awful. Like, and I would have joked about it now. I'm like, oh, I did my own, like, we booked my own gig. I booked myself on my own show and I bombed.
Yeah.
But, like, fuck, I would
I
have
know
felt
the pressure
bad.
of that though, because like a bunch of the shows that I run, when I get introduced, I don't like it actually. But like some MCs will introduce me as the showrunner, and I'll be like, oh fuck. Now I have the pressure of actually being good. Like I don't want to. I prefer it when they just say, and next comedian. I prefer that because then. I mean, clearly people have seen me up the front running it anyway, but the second you add showrunner to it, I'm better at it now, but like when I first started doing it, I felt the pressure to be good at my own show. It is a thing. And then I'd be like, I'm getting up doing new material. I was like, please don't base my show running abilities on my set right now.
I'll send you that too.
Yeah.
You're like, this is all new shit.
Yeah. I
Fuck
say
you.
that to be an out. I shouldn't. Like it's.
If someone's already like said that you're the showrunner, it's probably not a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then you're like,
I just don't want anybody. The reason I do it is because I don't want anybody to see my set and think that that's the best comedy that I do.
Or that, or that it's a reflection of your
Abilities.
business.
Oh yeah, or
As
my
well.
business exactly.
Yeah, like
the main thing.
yeah, okay. Like if you're like you do face comedy, it's like face comedy is face comedy, and literally, it's insane to me in the fact that you're selling a business based off people who are amateurs and not very good at what they do for the most part, and
That's
you're like,
why it's free.
Yeah, imagine if you
Yeah.
had people that were good.
yeah,
Shit,
yeah. But it's one of those things where I'm like, oh man, like you could definitely see that pressure where you're like, oh man, like if I do bad and someone's like, oh, like not even you could almost think like, oh, if I fucking do bad here, it's going to reflect on the business. Whereas hopefully anyone who's working.
It's also just
job
because,
done.
like, I think some people have an attitude of those who can't do teach. You know that whole line. So like
Yeah,
those who
100%.
can't do comedy run shows, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like that because I like doing both. I like running
Yeah.
shows. I like doing comedy, and I don't want to be like some people.
Well, they're two
have
completely
spoken to me
different
and said,
things.
you have to pick one. I was like, bullshit, bullshit. I do.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually, like if you had too much on your plate, one or the other.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
think
the
if
thing
you're
is-
doing
Make a choice.
headlining
Yeah.
shows and you're
Yeah.
traveling, you can't. Like, let's
Thing
say,
is, I can still book it and get someone else to run it all the night.
Yeah.
Though. It's
Yeah.
not a
Well, that's what
shutdown.
most fully successful comedians run their own shit. Like they travel around, they
They do it
book
all
their
the
own
time.
shows, and they have enough of a following that
Yeah.
they can do that
This
themselves.
is like, oh,
Especially people that are like
sorry.
people that are more like not mainstream, that aren't going to get like an agent or something, that aren't going to get into that circle of like mainstream comedy.
A lot of people in the scene have to build, like, it's the same in any industry.
Yeah.
Like, you have to build yourself. Most people don't get, like, discovered. Like, it's not a
No.
thing. It doesn't happen. You have to build yourself independently, and then when you've got a good enough brand, then you might be able to book some meetings, and then you might be able to get
Yeah.
someone who probably can promote you and get you in front of a wider audience. Like, and that would be amazing. But until then, you're still figuring out your voice in comedy anyway. Like, I still feel like I'm figuring out my voice in comedy. I mean, I've definitely got a section of it down. Like, I know that I talk a lot about dating and relationships. That's my main.
Yeah.
It's because I just talk about my life and what I'm going through. But I don't think of myself as that. Like, I'm not.
No.
I don't go, who's Eddy? Oh, I'm dating and relationships. Like, that's
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
not who I am as a person. It's just
No,
what
it's
I'm
just
going through.
What you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still think that I'm figuring it out, and
Yeah.
like
Well, like what's going to happen after that? Like
yeah.
you can talk about that.
I'm not going to talk about dating relationships all my life.
Yeah.
there's probably always going to be an aspect.
That's what Elliot's done pretty much, like, because he was doing all that like material about him being young and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But now he's like getting older, so it's like,
One
well,
day
you
he's not
gotta-
going to be able to.
Yeah, can't make the 18-year-old.
Then again, he's got a baby face, so he's got a good decade on it
It's
at
got a
least.
while, yeah. But it's like, yeah, you gotta, once you've done like that section and talking about that sort of stuff, it's like
Then you move on to
the
next.
next thing.
It's like
yeah. And build
music
it.
artists who start when they're a teenager and they're singing all these poppy stuff, and they get
Yeah.
older and they start doing more sexual stuff, and they, like
Yeah.
they change with their audience as well. Like
Yep.
as they grow,
Yep.
their voice changes. Yeah,
And you gotta
so's
figure
mine.
out what you want to talk about, really.
yeah.
Like, I think I do. Special.
Sometimes I think
Mine's just like
Yeah.
fucking, all over the place.
you're doing the same thing though,
I
like
know
just
what I'm
talking
talking
about
about.
what's happening around you
Yeah.
until you figure out what your voice is and what exactly
Yeah.
you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But sometimes I sit down and I see these people like giving their opinions in comedy bits, and I'll be like, do I even have any opinions?
Yeah.
And then Mitch will start talking. I'm like, yes, I
Oh,
do.
I have a
Yes,
lot.
I
You're
do.
very wrong. That's why I got to respect like YouTube comedians, and like they don't probably do as much open mic sort of stand up format, but they have a thing that they've got going.
Yeah, they've
where
already got their
They've got
brand
their,
and their
yeah,
voice.
that
And
thing that they
instant
do.
feedback.
Yeah.
Instant feedback in like the most cruelest form. Can you imagine if
Yeah, it's
people
true.
like if you could see a screen in front of you as you're telling your jokes, and instead of laughs, you're getting comments like
Yeah.
that was good, or fuck that fat fuck, like like
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're on the internet, you'll get both regardless of whether you're like really good or not, because there's
Yeah.
trolls out there. So
But I
people.
don't think people really pay attention to that sort of stuff. Like, who are successful on that, they probably don't read all the comments.
No, but I
Unless
think
you're a fucking psychopath.
they do though. They definitely do read comments, because
Not
even
all of
big
them. Some
it-
of them are smart.
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
like even Big J. Big J's like an established comedian. He's on like TV shows. Like he's got his own special out. Like I don't know if you know who Big J
I
Okerson
don't,
is.
actually, sorry.
But he's like, he was talking about it. He's like, I've got this old bit from like 3 years ago on Facebook. He goes, it's like popped up again, and he goes, and there's like legit debates. And he's like, and I'm watching it. He's like, he's watching it. He's not engaging, obviously. But I think it'd be impossible. Like, I've never put my comedy online because it's not ready.
Yeah.
And
I'll put up like one-liner memes and things, but
yeah. Like,
I've taken one down before though, because I was like in the context, like when I tell it in an audience format, people know it's a joke and it's funny, but when I put it up online, it sounded a bit too harsh. So I think I got a comment within like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, "Yep, taking that down."
Yeah.
I was like,
Smart.
I realized I'm not strong enough to handle this.
This meme sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, it was because it was about a contentious issue, and they were like, "Oh, I don't think you should be saying that" or something. And I was like, "I
Yeah.
don't mean it. It's clearly a joke, but
Right.
like, yeah, I don't. People are going to take this the wrong way. Take it down."
That's yeah. And that's the sad thing as well. That's what really upsets me is people's ability to fucking just like find outrage. Like outrage chases.
Oh, 'cause they're
and you're like-
bored and shit. Just
Yeah.
sitting on the internet.
Yeah, and I've started doing it in another way, that I'll find an outrage chaser and I'll argue with them because I'm hanging a shit at work. And
See,
I'll
I
be
don't
like,
know why you bother.
He chases the fights. Like there's
Yeah.
this everywhere.
I had this one
He's
dude
not
who was
physically,
like,
but not verbally.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. He accidentally, like, he meant to reply to someone's message, and he just was mentioning an argument he had with a Nazi, and I was like, dude, you're just like, are you seriously bragging about a argument you've had on the internet? And he didn't understand we both didn't understand the context. He was responding to someone he thought was a Nazi. I saw him and thought he was bragging about arguing with a Nazi in zero context.
Yeah.
So we had this back and forth, and I was just like laughing at him and calling him a silly goose. I'm like, because you can insult people, but if you insult them in like a play fun way, it hurts worse, and you can't get in trouble for it. You can't
He
get
thinks
zucked
about
for
this.
it.
This is like
Yeah. I'm like,
his strategies about this.
I'm
shit.
like, I'll make my point. I'm like, that's why you're a silly goose. And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, and then at the end of it, he's like, oh, wait, I was actually responding to anyone, like someone else. And I just wrote, ha, 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 ha,
You
ha,
silly
ha, ha,
goose.
ha, 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 ha. And like 5 lines, he's like, oh, like you've never made a mistake. I'm like, I make mistakes all the time. I'm like, I'm just like, it was just a hilarious situation that you thought you were in the right, and not only are you an idiot, but you were wrong. And I was like,
Do you ever think that though he just made it up to like backtrack on what he said? Because some people do that.
Yeah, hopefully. And it was just like this whole situation. And I'm like, those are the situations where I'm like, I love it. I'm like, I got a chuckle out of that one.
I can't be bothered wasting my time on like online.
I had nothing else to do. I was hanging a shit. And like, it was over like 8 hours.
Hey, should I read a magazine while I'm shitting? No, let's get into an argument on Facebook.
He does take long shits.
I do.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
I can see why.
Yeah.
So I've got to make sure.
I
this
stop
goes
shitting
wrong.
when my legs go numb.
You just send him a picture on the group chat and just be like, "Are you on the shitter?" As a response.
I even mentioned it. I'm like, dude, I'm only arguing with you right now because I'm shitting. Like, I don't actually care.
Yeah.
So what's going on for Dubbo? What's the plan? Are we getting? How are we going to make
All
this
right.
work? Are we getting accommodation? I'm taking
Oh,
my
me and
van.
Loss have been looking into it. So I've been, I looked up a couple of rooms and it's pretty cheap up there. We can get like all together like for like $400 or $500. But Loz was also suggesting we can get these like big camp events for like $20 a day if we're okay with like all racking together.
I'm not sharing.
Is that the right word?
Fucking van.
Racking together.
I don't know.
We'll bring a coke.
Those savages.
No,
look,
you
I
just
know,
honestly,
we were going to have this conversation
got a
in a
van.
private group chat.
Ethan's
Let's
got a
put it
van.
on the podcast, shall
Sure,
we?
why not?
Just-
yeah. I like honestly, it's I've reached out to a couple of people and they're like, oh, maybes. I'm like, I gotta fucking figure this out right now. So
Let's be straight. We're gonna have to like hire a van anyway to get us up there. So we may as well hire something that we can also sleep in.
yeah, look, I've got my Subaru, which I
How
can
many
just
seats?
chuck.
Can we?
5.
Why are we discussing this on the podcast? This is super
Why?
weird. Like
Oh.
logistics.
Whatever.
You'll
Like,
be like,
who
what are
cares?
you
You
gonna
gotta fill
eat
up
for
the
dinner
hour.
If
that
people-
night?
if
What are you
people
gonna,
don't-
like-
Where's the nearest pub? People need to
Yeah.
know this shit. This is what goes into planning.
I'm excited
a
for
fucking
the
show.
party. I'm excited for the party afterwards.
Yeah,
Like,
see, that's the only thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I went to Adelaide Fringe Festival with a bunch of the Newcastle comedians like a couple of years back, and it was one of the best working holidays of my life. So
Yeah.
much fun.
yeah,
I think I know a few of like the fire people that are going as well, like doing fire eating and stuff.
Oh yeah,
From
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do
Could-
that.
could be
That's
cool.
you know that's
Catch up
how
with
me
them.
and Ethan met.
Yeah. Eating
Really?
fire.
We did a fire eating workshop together,
yeah, okay.
and then we added each other on Facebook, and I was doing this comedy competition thing, I think, and you saw it and
Oh
came
yeah,
down
come
and
along.
watched
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then you just sort of joined in the scene after
Then
that. I think.
joined. I did an open mic at the Stag. Was the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I meet people from all different types of groups and communities, and I'm always like, I don't think I did when I met you because I was still pretty new then as well. I was only
Yeah.
a couple of years into it, but like when I started doing running my own shows everywhere I go now, I'm like, you should do comedy. Always hustling, bitch. Always hustling, you know. I did it last night. I've got this one friend who's just so dry, and she destroys me every time. And she would be hilarious on stage, and I've told her this. I don't think she will ever do it. She doesn't have the interest in it, but like she's just got like the perfect comedy tone
Yeah.
of that whole just like you've seen Daria.
Yeah.
She's the real life version of Daria.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and she's amazing, and she cracks me up so fucking much.
Yeah.
So funny.
I love you see people like that and they've just got that whatever it is about them, it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
I've got this mate. Hopefully he was in the Air Force. Ethan's heard heaps of stories about him as well. He's just one of these fucking blokes who was just like absolutely hilarious. Like he's like a football player. He was mates with Butsy as well. Like you're
Do
like,
I know
oh yeah,
Butsy?
huh?
Do I know Butsy?
Butsy, fucking Butterworth.
Butterfield.
Oh, continue.
Butterworth.
Yeah, Butterworth. Yeah.
Load of name drop.
I don't even know him.
I was like, I don't know him well enough to know him by his like
Yeah,
Butsy,
yeah.
like, shortening of
But
his
like
last name.
you're like, oh yeah, like football jock, and he's just like hilarious, like
Yeah.
one of those just fucking blokes. But then again, some people are fucking hilarious in groups, and then they get up and do comedy,
Yeah.
and they're not so.
Or they're
much.
Because they
hilarious.
don't understand the
They're
format.
hilarious to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're a piece of shit.
And then when we watch them, we're
So I
like,
went to this white
Dunno.
power rally, and I was like, "This dude was fucking killing."
he had a crazy hat. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Some of my favorite bits to this day are fucking super offensive. Where you're like, I've watched them like, and some people will laugh, and sometimes people are like genuinely offended about them, and they're my favorite bits because I love pushing like
The boundaries.
love pushing the boundaries, like especially if I think it's a funny bit. Being offensive and being funny are two different things,
Yeah.
and some people just their line is like way further off than mine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll see a bit that's like pretty offensive, but I find it funny, and then other people are like, oh, nah, like that's fucking bad. Like that'll get you me too'd one day.
How will it get you me too?
Oh well.
Yeah, you
That's
have
just
to
a
actually,
genuine.
like-
That's just the term I use for like
Yeah.
cancelled.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should stop using that because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't make any
Unless the
sense.
bit is actually raping someone,
Oh Jesus.
then it makes sense. But otherwise,
Can't we get through one podcast without using the R word?
I said faggot
Jesus
earlier
Sorry,
too.
I was just putting
You
it
were
in
trying
context.
to you're trying to be
Oh
all
God.
PC,
I'm
like the F
trying.
word. I'm like, people don't know what the F word is. I'm gonna say it.
I did think that actually when I said that. I was like, maybe I should spell it out. Like,
Yeah.
like
The FAGGOT.
that's the problem. There's already an
I
F
don't
word.
feel right saying
Yeah.
it. That's why, because I'm so used to not saying it in actual public that it's weird for me to like. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the
I
same
think the
time,
worst word I've ever said is like,
On stage,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I've used
And
that
even
as
then,
well.
I stress about it. I stress so. I told it at the. Oh, and I swear, like the joke is literally about the fact that it's offensive. Like
That's like what I did.
That's
with
the joke about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're joking about the word being offensive.
Yeah,
and people
joking
take
about
it the wrong
word being
way.
offensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I did it at Punchline the other day, and I used the wrong example, and I was like, I'm still stressing about it. I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that.
What happened?
This dude in the front row, the
Yeah.
disabled fella. Eddie, you're a
You sound
monster.
Like a fucking cunt.
No, was
No,
it? Who was
no,
it too?
it
Was it old mate in the front that was being a dick? Well, he wasn't being a dick, but he
No,
was yelling
but
out
the
stuff.
joke is that like in country towns we
Oh,
all give
yeah,
each
I know
other
that bit, yeah.
we all give each other offensive nicknames.
Yep.
And I was talking about some of the nicknames that we genuinely did have. Like I'm using genuine examples from when I used to live in Tamworth.
They're real examples.
Yeah, they're real
Yeah.
examples. And so
Like
what
retard Bob.
I tend to do is I just pick someone. I have some bits that I'll just be like, for this bit, you just need to pick a male in the audience and say it to them, and then I won't think about it. And then later on, I'll be like, oh God, did they think I meant it for real? Like, did they? And then I'll stress about it so much. And I've only told the joke like twice.
Yeah.
Um,
It's always a bit like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
I don't think I'll use it anymore. I think it's out. I think
Unless you got a real hot riff,
yeah.
then rip it out for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
otherwise-
don't think it. Yeah,
It'd
I
be
was
like one of
just-
those ones that if you see someone in the crowd that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
You could do it.
it could be a good cut down line.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't.
Oh fuck! I had the best line for You know how Jack Tideswell got heckled?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
guy
guy was a
dick.
fuck. I thought this was comedy, which is like the worst unoriginal heckle
Oh
ever.
my god, it was so bad.
I was just like,
And nobody liked him.
but
It never works out well for him.
right then and there, I was just like, if you could just yell out like, no, this is like yell out if you're a fuckwit night.
Yeah, that would have been. You should have said that.
I wasn't on stage, so I
Yeah,
didn't
so you
wanna-
want to step on his toes.
Yeah.
I've done that as well too, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I have a line, but also I don't
Yeah.
want to be like taking away from the person on stage.
Exactly, yeah.
But
And
that
then-
would have been good. That would be.
But
Yeah.
I'm putting that one in the holster. If
Yeah,
anyone
do,
yells
do.
that to me, I'm like, it's covered.
Yeah.
It's fucking covered.
We were talking about that a couple of podcasts ago. Like, I need some. It's kind of hacky, but you need some like comebacks. You need some wholesome
Yeah.
comebacks for
But most of the
hecklers.
lines that I've written weren't written as comebacks, but just
Yeah.
like I have written them for jokes or whatever,
Mm.
and then somebody will heckle or do something in the audience, and then it will just come to my mind and I'll do it at a work. Like I did that with the other night at the Wico, where I asked the dude in the audience for a part to do with the joke, and I wanted one thing. I wanted like one I asked him what he got his partner for Christmas. That's all I asked.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted, a one-word answer or something like along those lines. And he kept on talking, and I was like, "Fuck me!" Like, and I used this can line on him that is not specifically used for that reason, but it works so fucking well. And I was like, "Right, can holster," you know what I mean? Like, that's how I come up with my lines. I've never because I've tried to write specifically for, hey, if I get heckled, I'll use this. And I never come up with good lines.
You can never, it's such
I always have better lines in the moment than I do, like, thinking about it at home in the comfortability of having nobody heckling me.
And people yell out weird shit, too, that you can never predict. Like, that guy yelled out stepbrother to me. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, but then it's so easy to cut them down if it doesn't even make sense. It's so easy.
Yeah, good one,
everyone's always
dickhead.
laughing, and it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you can always be like, like, I'm the one with a mic fuckwit or something like that, and everyone laughs. Or the worst is when you're bombing. If you're already bombing and then you get a heckler, like the perfect example is lead balloon. Like,
I remember this one.
Yeah. And she's like, lead balloon. And Ethan's like, I'm already bombing. Maybe I can riff and dig myself out of this.
No, I just
and it was
honestly
such a
had
shit...
no idea what the fuck she was talking about.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
Well, yeah, it's such a shit. Like, it was such a shit. Like, now you could be like, yeah, good heckle. Great, great work.
Some audience member just in the middle of your set called out lead balloon.
Yeah.
I was bombing. It was going down like a lead balloon.
Oh, that's funny. Like,
you could have been like, yeah, and you're old.
I don't think you needed to. I think it was just fucking one word cut down. Like,
that's as far as it went.
Yeah.
I was like, that was
just
fucking
awkward.
weird.
sometimes you make people laugh just with your reaction to things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's bad when you get a heckler that fucking outdoes you too and they get a bigger laugh than you.
Yeah, that happened. Okay, first time I ever got heckled, I was like a couple of sets in. I was still using my phone to like read out joke ideas and things. And I was so, I was still, nervous when you first start, all that sort of stuff. And I'm looking at my phone. So it disconnects you from the audience, but you're not thinking that when you first start comedy. You're just thinking, I'm going to forget it. I better have it here.
Yeah.
And I got no laughter during the whole set. And then I can't even remember what the dude yelled out, but I remember that it was so funny that I laughed my ass off. And then when this guy's funnier than me, I fucked off. I was like, I got off stage immediately. I was like, I'm done. And that was the moment that I went, okay, I'm going to stop using my phone. I'm just going. I don't even care if I forget it. I just need to, because it's too disconnecting. It just doesn't work. And I think I probably started getting better after that because I wasn't in my phone. I was actually connecting more.
I've said exactly the same thing to people who write on their wrist. And I've said,
I've never written on my hand any of my jokes ever.
I'm too sweaty. I'm a sweaty fat fuck. So
everybody in the scene does it. But
everyone does. Yeah. Look, and I get it. I get why you're doing it, but I said to as one comedian in particular, I was like, stop writing on your hand. I'm like, you've been performing these jokes. You know your jokes. Yeah. And they tried to, they were like, oh, no, this reason, that reason. I'm like, no. I'm like, you know your jokes. Stop taking yourself out of the moment. I said, because you'll come up with something. One of the best jokes I came up with was because I literally forgot my line and I needed to buy time. Yeah. And I was like, and then I just like riffed on something just completely random and it turned into a joke.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even if you don't riff a good joke, you need to learn how to become comfortable and how to get through that if you do forget it. Because like, if you start getting big spots and you're still looking at your hand to remember
you won't get big spots.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to book you and pay you for... Like,
then again, I know headliner comedians that still do that, but it's not like every single joke. Like, it's just like they'll do a whole 10-minute bit and they'll be like, okay, cool, and they'll go.
That's a little more understandable than if you're doing
it's
a 5-minute
less obvious
bit.
than the guy who's okay, punchline, cool, punchline, and then like every fucking time.
Yeah.
And you need to learn how to become more comfortable on stage. So if you're constantly, you got to learn how to. Yeah, do that. So I'm on the same opinion. I think you'll be a better comedian if you stop doing it. You will suck at the first time because you will forget your jokes. But how else do you force yourself to learn? Is sort
Yeah.
of my
And that was
feeling on it.
Yeah, that was advice that Ethan gave me, and I
Yeah.
felt like I was like 10% better already. He was like,
Ethan
'cause-
gives good advice.
yeah, because he's self-aware
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
autistic.
I don't know about that.
And another one was.
No, we're trying to be PC here, Mitch.
I'm autistic, so it's all right.
Are you genuinely?
I think so. Yeah, like.
But- Oh, his wife just called him from the
Yeah.
side. Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
hell,
when-
okay.
Yeah, people are like, oh man, you're like, yeah, you're probably on the spectrum, and it makes sense. But anyway, another thing was so this is from personal experience. Legacy, watch me have a really good set one night. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't want to say kill because I don't know why.
You did
but
decent. Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah,
reasonable
yeah,
here.
yeah. I did
Let's be
decent.
realistic.
Like, he was like, and then he brought me up and he's like, he gave me this great intro. And not only did I bomb, I forgot my jokes and I just walked off stage.
Yeah.
And it was like a 2-minute set and he got up and he was like, what the fuck, dude?
I gave you a good opening. I had that happen to me once.
Yeah.
Steve White introduced me once at a set as the funniest female he knows. And then
Yeah.
after my set, he got up and goes, I guess I was wrong. And I was like, it was a fucking fair call. Because
Yeah.
I bombed so hard.
Yeah.
Uh,
But even if I bombed, like, fair enough. But the shame of just, like, walking off, like, yeah, I felt like I gave up. And I was
Yeah.
like, it was that shame. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, don't just, like, walk off. This is what I'm thinking in my head, okay? This isn't a riff on anyone else. And I was like, all right, cool. Do your set.
yeah.
Do your fucking set and
You can
do
learn
your
to push
time.
through it.
Yeah. Like, if you get up there and you forget your jokes, like, try and work through it. Like, I've seen Loz, genuinely, she had a fucking big night and she forgot her jokes.
Yeah.
But she was like, she genuinely tried to work through it. And I was
And
like,
she got
that's.
a fuckload of laughs because of it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
she owned
yeah,
up
yeah.
to it. She's like, I've literally. You think this is part of the set, but no, I fucking forgot about
She goes,
jokes.
I did a
Like,
13-hour fucking shift on a train,
Yeah.
drove out here from Maitland, tried to do this, and it just hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And she wanted to get back up and do another set. And
No, that wasn't going to work.
yeah, I know. We talked her out of it. But
You didn't need to talk her out of it. I wouldn't have let her done it.
yeah.
It wasn't her. It
Yeah.
wasn't her option.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I saw another comedian do exactly the same thing. He was like, he was like, oh fuck. He jumped off. He was only on the scene for a few weeks. I want to say a couple of months. There was 2 of them, and they fucking reminded me of me and Ethan so much. And he stopped.
Oh no, they're still in the scene. They were away during the Christmas period. They're going to be back.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I know
And
who you're
the
talking
last,
about, yeah.
the last set, he just fucking walked off. And I walked up to him and I was like, dude, don't do that. I said, it feels way worse just giving up and walking off stage.
I do get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but also from my point of the showrunner, if you're bombing, please don't say on stage. Like you're fucking
No,
off
no,
the
he
show
wasn't.
for everyone else.
Everyone bombs when they're early. I'm not saying
Yeah.
because you're bombing.
Yeah.
Like, he got off because he forgot his jokes.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
just fucking
yeah.
try and work through it. Like, genuinely give it a good go. And I'm like, it feels, for me personally, it feels way worse forgetting your bits.
Well, that's
and,
not even a
and
bomb.
giving up.
Like, if you forget your bits and you don't even do anything,
Yeah.
that's not a bomb.
Yeah.
That's just walking off.
But you are
Yeah.
right
Don't have
though, like because
anything.
I'll get off stage sometimes, and I've started a new rule. Well, I've had it for a little while, but I'll tend to be like, because I write new bits all the time, and I'll be like, and I want to try them all. I'll get to the next open mic, I want to try them all, but every time I do, never doesn't work. So what I do is I'll have my set figured out, like the topics or themes that I want to talk about, and I'll give myself 3 things to remember.
Yeah.
Only 3, because if I try to remember more, I always forget it doesn't work. But when I do
Yeah.
3, it seems natural. I don't struggle to remember it.
Yeah.
I can do
It
about
works that way.
5, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like 5 things to remember.
Nah, not me, because I need it natural. And then the thing is, like, once I've done it in a set, though, I remember it so much better for the next time. So I can literally do it very next set
Yeah.
and add another 3 things, and it's fine. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason, when I do it on stage, it solidifies it in my mind a bit better.
For For sure.
Yeah.
Because you know the rhythm of it. It's like learning
Yeah.
a song. You're like, I know the next chorus because
Yeah.
I fucking did, and then that comes after that.
I think it's also because I'm narcissistic, and after I have a good set, I'll go over it in my head
problem
over
with
and over
that
again.
is-
I
yeah.
feel like to relive my past glory, you know?
The problem with that is it gets you in a rut of like, this is my 5 and this is the way it goes from A to B.
Yeah. No, I don't do that. I don't do
you
that.
got to change it up a bit.
I'm always switching things.
Yeah.
You need to, and it's so hard. You and I were talking about it, and I was like, all right. I was like, not to sound like a wanker again. I was like, I've got a 5 minutes that works. I can get up and I'll get laughs, okay? I'm not saying I kill. I'm not saying I'm the best comedian or anything like that. But I was like, it's fucking really challenging to be like, I'm just going to get up and do entirely an entire new set.
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
too
like-
much, like, to remember that much. It's, unless it's a story. Because in a story, you know the order.
Yeah.
And you might forget a few jokes in between, but you won't forget where you're going. So
Yeah.
it's fine. So
Yeah.
I've done plenty of times when I've done an entirely new set, but it's because it's been a story.
Yeah.
And
Unless your memory's bad and you forget where the story goes.
well, if
You
you're
get off
writing
track.
how the story happens anyway, and you've just added jokes to it, sort of
Yeah,
thing,
then you're
like
fine.
it's for me, it's impossible to forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like that way. But I will get off and
Yeah.
go, oh, I forgot this one riff. But I tend to find I had a comedian in Sydney said this to me once, and I was like, it's so true. He said, you remember that, like, when you get up on stage, you remember the ones that are funny. You remember the ones that are worth telling on stage.
Yeah.
And it's true because I'll go like, okay, I'll talk about this topic, and then I'll get up, and the bits that like worked in my free write or whatever I was doing, they'll just come to my bit and it will seem like off the cuff, but I have written it, but I didn't decide it was in this order. It's just sort of come to my mind because I'm like, this would fit here. Oh, this is funny. And like the unfunny bits are the ones that I forget and
Yeah.
that I don't tell. And it's such a good way to approach comedy when you're like riffing new shit, because you genuinely do. Like I feel like you have so much better instincts when you're on stage as to what's going to be funny.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll tell a joke and you know it's going to bomb. You're like, why am I saying this? I
Yeah,
know it's going to go
yeah.
badly. Yeah.
Like, fucking whatever.
I hate those ones.
You're like, I got to
Yeah.
fill a minute.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's
I-
just like sometimes it's that situation if you're like, I need to try it just to know that it bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can move on from it, you know?
Or something that you thought was funny like the day before and you're like, yeah, I'm going to try it out. And then you're like, as you're going into it, you're like, ah, fuck.
Yeah, I've just suddenly realised it's not funny.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like
know
when you're
what I
trying
was
to tell a
thinking.
story at
Yeah.
work and there's like 5 people listening to you, and you're like halfway through the story, you're like, oh, this is going nowhere.
I just realised the ending to this story is
Oh,
really crap.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. I had to get to the point where I'm fucking awful at telling stories, where I'd have to get to the point where I was like, yeah, this story's going nowhere. Never mind. And people
You
are like,
just need to
what the
shorten
fuck?
them. It's like you've
Yeah,
got a point,
no. Yeah,
But
and
just condense it into
yeah,
just
Yeah,
what
100%.
happened.
Yeah. And that's the kind of way. That's the way I write comedy a lot of times. Like all of my like punchier jokes, shorter jokes, started out as a 5-minute fucking joke, and I was like, I've just got to get there, perform it. I've got to get the feedback from the audience, and I'm like, okay, they laughed at this point, so I know that's where the punchline is. Now I need to figure out how I can get there nice and fucking quick so they don't get bored.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect way to think of it.
Yeah.
Or you have to figure out how to get more jokes out of the bits that aren't funny.
Yeah,
Take it.
yeah.
I've definitely squished some jokes in places that, like, I remember I was writing this story for when that dude smashed into my car, and I reckon I was talking about tailgating and how it's an intimidation technique, and I was like, I need a joke about intimidation, and like I wrote a different joke and then just sort of like squished it in there, and it works great now. But like the original route of thinking that I was thinking to make a joke about that, it was totally different. Nothing like it at all. And so sometimes, like, because you'll write one-liners, but when I get to stories, suddenly I'll have, oh, that one-liner I wrote like a year ago fits perfectly in here, and you can just like, it's kismet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like it's so much fun. I feel like getting to that point where you're like, and you've got to have at least some self-awareness. Like, don't die on the hill for a joke. Like, don't be like, oh yeah, the whole joke goes for 3 minutes and then right at the end I get a laugh. Like, it's bad. I feel like I'm like, because I've got the children hitting joke, and I'm like, there's 2 points in that joke, It's a 3-minute bit. I'm like, there's 2 points in that joke that gets laughs. I'm like, and for me, I'm like, I need to figure out A, how to punch it up, like get more punchlines in, or B, shorten it down so that people can be like, oh, that's funny. Like, and I'll be writing, and I'll read it out to Tanya, and she's like, yeah, that's funny. She goes, but it's too long.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm like, all right, sweet. And then I'll go and perform it. Like I've done like bits where like I've just gotten up, I've told 2 jokes and they're like 2.5-minute stories and they've bombed. I'm like, all right, they suck. And then like
I feel like sometimes you do have to have faith in yourself though. Like if you know that there's a funny aspect at it and you're just not getting it across yet, you know to keep on writing on it. You know to, or you know, like, or you'll know if no, I need to abandon this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important too.
Speaking of abandoning, have we been talking for like 2
Fucking
hours?
ages, yeah. I'm just waiting
Like,
for like a lapse
Jesus.
in the conversation to be like, all right, guys.
I was like,
we should
I'm going
wrap
to
this
force
up."
one. Like, I was like, I need to force one because I'm supposed to be going to a party and I'm
Yeah.
fucking late.
He's just
I'm
gonna-
fucking drunk.
Mitch is just going to keep talking.
I'm supposed to be at the party now.
I've had 5 beers in this podcast.
Yeah,
Christ.
Jesus.
Thanks again for coming on, Eddie.
Yeah, for sure.
Hope your show goes well. Well, it will go
Please
well.
plug it.
Not hope it goes
Dates.
Yeah, plug it for sure.
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
So
We'll
March
share it.
18th to 21st at the Grand Hotel. Go to stickytickets.com and search The Art of Falling in Love.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's actually one that's enough of a fucking thing that we might have this edited by the time.
Fingers
We'll
crossed.
put this first.
First, you have to cut out like an hour's worth of material, though.
Good luck,
make-
Charles.
Mostly me talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
I love yous.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later,
Mwah.
guys.